rightfully staying with individuals and families, and never again will we allow ourselves to be used as pawns for political maneuvering or power. So my voice might sound a little weird tonight. Who here is a Cowboys fan? Hey, we got one. So I was at the Vikings game last night. Vikings, Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, right? Not a lot of love there, right? So I was at the Vikings game last night, and we took the tram in. We parked at Fort Snelling, and we're on the tram, and all we could hear was the repeating over the top, right? You are federally required to wear masks on this train at all times. Guess how many people were wearing masks? 2. So we were inside the stadium, and I took a couple pictures. These are the people that were directly around me. So on the right, was to my right, and then to my left. There was one mask in the entire stadium. One mask. So I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I have no idea. But what I wanted to use here was saying, why are we requiring masks in schools if we're not even doing it at football games? Politics. We're not enforcing it. So why are we doing this? So is it really about health? Is it really about controlling the spread of a virus?
No.
Not at all. Money. So I got
they're socially distancing, right?
Yeah, they're like 6 feet apart. By the way, all of those people hated me by like the end of the game. So I'm running around cheering, "Let's go, Brandon." So that was fun. Anyways, so I got a video here. Oh, Halloween. Look at that. Sexy, man. All right, Halloween. This was Fauci and his prison inmate number. Yay. So I saw that. That was pretty funny. So we're gonna play this video quick. Hopefully it works. You guys hear that?
No, I'm good. Thank you, though. Life jackets are mandatory. Mandatory to wear a life jacket when you swim and when you're not swimming, too. Why? Cases of people getting wet are going through the roof. It's a scary time. Put it on. But that doesn't mean they're drowning. People get wet every day. It's part of life. 0.0001182% of all people drown each year. That's practically everybody. So put on a life jacket. That doesn't make any logical sense. I'm not putting one on. I know how to swim. I've had swimming lessons. Oh, swimming lessons? You think those exist? So what, you just think your body has this natural ability to traverse through water in a way that keeps your head up so you can still breathe? Yeah, it's called swimming. Never heard of it. Flotation devices are backed by science. You don't believe in science? I do. It's just, I know how to swim. You're kind of being racist right now. What? Look how his life jacket is keeping him from drowning. He's just standing in shallow water. Put a life jacket on now. You're putting everyone at risk of drowning. How am I putting everyone at risk? Their life jackets won't work unless you have one on. Does his life jacket work? Yes, very well. Then why would he need me to wear a life jacket when his life jacket already works? We have to protect the protected swimmers from the unprotected swimmers. But aren't they already protected? Yes. Very well protected. So they should be fine. They would be, except they're not very well protected because of you. Look, you gotta put one on or you can't go in. This feels creepy. So, where would I get one? Oh, I'm selling them right here. You're selling life jackets? Yes, of course. So you're demanding that everyone wear a life jacket while you are selling life jackets? Yes, for their protection. And they have to buy the life jacket from you? Indeed. Don't you think that's a conflict of interest? No conflict of interest that I can think of. How much money have you made this year from life jackets? $27 billion. Seems like you're more interested in making money than keeping people safe from it. You're an anti-science, anti-life jacket, climate change denier. With cases of people getting wet going through the roof, I'm gonna need you to buy a life jacket from me and put it on, or else you'll never have access to swimming pools, showers, rain, or drinking water ever again. You're treating me like I'm the enemy. If you're concerned with people drowning, shouldn't you be treating water like it's the danger instead of treating me like I'm the danger? Your body's made up of 70% water, so you're basically a ticking time bomb. Put one on. Buddy, you are the last person I'd want to take direction from. You're so pushy, it's creeping me out. You're like the Harvey Weinstein of lifeguards. Thank you. But look, Just today, a man up the road died from drowning in a head-on collision car accident because he wasn't wearing his life jacket. Wouldn't he have died from the car accident? A bottle of water was found in the car. Counts as a water death. That doesn't make any sense. God works in mysterious ways, and there is no God, so you'll need to obey me. Oh my God! He's drowning! Help him! Sir, please get out of the pool and put this life jacket on. He can't get out, he's drowning! Grab the edge of the pool, it's right behind you! Just reach for it! No. That's not an approved method of protection against drowning. It's quite dangerous, actually. Just grab the edge! Do not do that, it's unapproved. For God's sake, just grab the edge! Can we censor him, please? For your protection, do not grab the edge. Help him, you're a lifeguard! Okay, I will. You should have put a life jacket on while you still have a chance. You're kind of getting what you deserve. Look what you did to him, you monster. This never would have happened if you had a life jacket on. Now put a life jacket on. Okay, now that you're fully protected, enjoy your swim. I'll need to see proof that you're wearing a life jacket. Show me your papers. So what, you mean the next thing the same, make it look good? Yeah.
And that is the world we live in now. So, back to the Vikings game. How many of those people do you think were vaccinated? Some of them, maybe a lot of them, I don't know. A lot of the Cowboys fans were from Iowa or different areas, so I wonder if they were maybe less vaccinated. But it's crazy that they think that this is how it works, right? And we can't look at natural treatments. And now we're seeing that Minnesota plans November 4th to start date for vaccinating 5 to 11-year-olds. Are we excited about that? No. Of course not. But people are being duped into believing that this is working. And I found this crazy video. Actually, David sent it to me earlier, so hopefully this one works.
This is my daughter. Hi. She's 9. We're about to blind react to something. Okay. What does that say? Hold on, dear. What's it say?
The COVID vaccine for kids is, so next week should be clear for kids to 5 to 11.
What does that mean for you?
I can go with my friends.
And
I can finally, go outside, go to stores. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I thought I was going to be like in a couple months. No, next week. Oh, Mom.
She's right. You need to get vaccinated.
Okay.
All right.
Isn't that crazy? She wasn't letting her daughter go outside because she wasn't vaccinated for a disease that has literally never killed a child. Child abuse, exactly. This lady needs to be in jail. Probably a murder, is that what you said? Yep. There you go. I don't know, you can't jump to that conclusion, that's a little far, but... but it is going to set this kid up for failure, right? Now this child's going to be worried, he's going to be concerned, or she's going to be concerned at all times when she's interacting with other individuals. She's looking at them as a germ. Is that how we want to raise our kids? Is that what we want the next generation to look like? No. Do we want the next generation to look like a bunch of people that will just comply with the government no matter what they say? No. So we have to stand up for this, right? And who knows, she gets this vaccine, is she going to be able to reproduce? We don't know. We don't know the long-term studies of this vaccine because we literally just invented it. So shouldn't we have different questions? Shouldn't we be asking more questions? And we know some of these side effects. We know the blood clotting and stuff, right? And now they're trying to normalize it. Oops. Oh, I forgot to mention this. We're all well, I'm an anti-vaxxer. You guys might not be. Yeah, so we got some here. But this is the definition of anti-vaxxer in the Webster Dictionary. Okay? It says, a person who opposes the use of vaccines or regulations mandating a vaccine. You want to know when they updated that? October 4th. They're conditioning us. They're trying to get us prepared for what's coming next. Does that make sense? So, they're also normalizing the side effects. They're starting to talk about kids, hey, it's okay, like kids have strokes. Kids have strokes all the time. They're saying that. It's on buses. They're pushing like a whole media campaign based around this. So I did some digging on statistics. And that's not my forte, that's more John, but I did the best that I could. So I found some things. Kids have strokes more often than not. This is from PubMed. So study shows strokes in children are rare, but occur more often than earlier estimates. You want to know how many it is? 2.4 out of 100,000 kids, okay? So roughly there are about 50 million children in the United States, okay? That means, if you do that math, you take 50 million divided by 100,000 times by 2.4, yada yada, you get 1,200 strokes. Is that that's not a boatload. Now, all kids passing away from anything is terrible, right? But 1,200, and we're gonna force vaccinate them, and then what's gonna happen? Now we're gonna be able to see that number climb. And we're gonna be able to say, what caused that? Starting November 4th in the state of Minnesota. We have something to go off of now, right? And we have something that we have to start talking about and communicating to other people, or else we'll never know what'll happen. We have to protect our children. They are the future. That's really down. So some upcoming events. Really run down the mood. So upcoming events on November 3rd, we have a rally at the Minnesota Department of Education. That is at 3 to 5:30 p.m. There's another one on November 7th, noon to 3, and that's at 3M headquarters. Go ahead.
Can you go back to the other one and give people a chance to write it down?
Of course. Go ahead. We'll put these all in our email blast for this meeting as well, so you'll be able to get the graphics and stuff. Obviously, it's all over Facebook. Did you know about it? See, someone knew about it.
The last 3M event was a lot of fun.
Was it?
There was one just a little bit ago. So they were requiring all these people to get the vaccine, or they were going to fire them all.
Yeah. So he said that basically he was requiring people to get vaccinated for 3M, which they still are. And that's where we're putting another one on Sunday. This one's at the Minnesota Department of Education the day before that they're allowing kids under the age of 11 to be vaccinated. And also it's the fight against the mask mandates that are happening in the school. We're hoping to get like 2,000 people there at the Minnesota Department of Education. There's like a big parking lot that we're all going to meet in. So here's the other one if you want to jot that one down.
Is that at the 220 building? The headquarter building, big white building?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, it's at the headquarters.
Yep, it's the big white building.
Okay.
It's called the 220 building. No.
The 220 building, if everyone was curious.
Everybody sees it when they drive along Interstate 94. It's a big white building there.
Okay. We got that one? All right. We are taking donations. We need you guys' support. What we're trying to do with these donations is we're trying to do a billboard. Think if we were all driving on 94 and there was a giant billboard that said Mask Off Minnesota, or maybe some death certificates from VAERS, or some VAERS data, or something along those lines to really spread awareness. And if we could get a bunch of these all over the city, it'd be really awesome, but we can't do it without you guys. Okay? So we're all volunteers here, we don't make any money, we just really want to end and win this mission, but we need you guys' support. Being here is one huge part, but we have to kind of keep fighting and growing and going in a different direction. Make sense? So follow us, our community continues to grow. Join our newsletter. I'm not going to read all these off like David does. Me, Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Gab. Get connected with us. Yeah. I did you that, you're right. So join those things. Don't forget about our sister organization, Mask Off Kids. Join their Telegram. That's it. Facebook, all that fun stuff. Also, you can support us by giving awareness by putting this as a banner. As you can see, Jan Malcolm, our great, she has it up there, which is awesome. Give her a big awesome. All right. Now I want to welcome to the stage, Mask Off grown, Mr. Jackson.
Freedom fighter!
Nice. Hello, everybody. Hello. So I'll be telling a story, and I have my own speech right here, and I'll be telling it to all you guys.
Nice.
And if I mess up, then I'll just keep going. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, kids had to go to school with masks on. They had to use hand sanitizer before going in. They had to sit 6 feet apart and eat lunch in their classroom. They can only pull their mask down and take a bite of food or of their drink. gym was taken away from the kids, there were no after-school programs. Kids were taught to fear others because of germs, and the teachers spent more time yelling at the kids in class about their mask than they were teaching the kids. Outside of school, the whole world stood still, business was shut down. Sorry, I said business. You guys couldn't hear. Okay. There were nowhere or anything to do. No friends to play with. Just being alone and sad. Just as I thought we could get any worse, or it could get any worse, an old, scary, creepy monster came along and told us we would never get our lives back unless we would get the COVID vaccine. First, it was the parents, some lost their jobs, and then it was the kids as young as 5 years old. This is not the bedtime story I want to tell my kids. I want to tell my kids that we stood up to the monster, and all the people in the land came together to fight and won back our freedoms. And how all the people of the land were chanting, "Let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon." I want to tell bedtime stories about fearless people like my cousin Ben, who gave his life for our freedoms. I want to tell my grandchildren how I stood side by side with heroes like Dr. Scott Jensen, Del Bigtree, and Dr. Bob. I want to tell the world how important it was to use your voice and never let fear stand in the way of what you believe in. Now, it's the time that I'm asking you all to help me rewrite my bedtime story. The end.
Give it one more time. I wanted to mention something I forgot to say earlier. So they're talking about all these blood clots and stuff, right? What's another giant comorbidity to having strokes and blood clots? Anybody know?
Heart attacks.
Heart attacks.
Overweight.
Obesity. That was the one I was looking for. Thank you. So, you know it's increased by 100% since January of 2020? Obesity in children. So, something to look out for. I lost my clicker.
I see, it's on the table over there, I think.
All right, so.
And that's probably from stress hormones, increased cortisol.
It definitely could be from stress hormones, or it could be you're sitting at home all day not doing gym class. It could be from your parents aren't feeding you the best food because or maybe there's not options, right? So we have low-income people in the city of Minneapolis, and we know that they don't have access to specific types of food like organic foods because they don't have the funds to do that. So they're more prone to eat things like McDonald's because it's cheap and easy. So I think that's also another thing. We have to look at it more as, yes, definitely stress, because stress does increase blood sugar, which then thickens the blood, which then forms clots and then ends up killing you, right? But we have to look at it from a bigger picture. We can't just pin one thing. There's never just one cause to anything. There's always multiple causes. Okay, so thank you. I love that. I think that's true. Definitely part of it. But to pin it on one thing is a little harsh.
That wasn't.
Okay. All right, so found this meeting today. This is Omar, security for me. So they spent over $100,000 on security last quarter, but she wants to defund the police. But our speaker today is running against her for the 5th Congressional District. Let's welcome Cicely Davis.
For having me. I was just here last Wednesday for the CD5 meeting. Wait. There you go. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
That was magic.
So I think that I saw quite a few of you at the Capitol, and Rallies are always fun because you get to be on stage, and you know, if you have a few tough messages, you get to. I love to be that person to just rile everybody up. But I'm facing something pretty serious, and if you are in CD5, you're facing something pretty serious. We have a pivotal day tomorrow. City elections, where we will be electing mayor, park board, city council, and we will be deciding on a public safety amendment that is being funded by an external, someone who doesn't even live in Minnesota, is pushing this agenda to defund our police, to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department. And I kind of walked in a little heavy, and Matt's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I just feel the weight of that right now. Last Thursday, I went to Linden Park, and I wanted to hear from, there were some liberal people who were standing around, and they were kind of talking about giving their opinion as to what question number 2 was going to mean. And that was really tough and frustrating for me. I went there to listen, to not give my opinion. I just wanted to literally hear what the other side had to say and how they think. And as I was standing there at that time, 76 people had died by way of gunshots in Minneapolis. And so they're standing and they're talking about the notion of defunding the police and not really beefing up the staff with the Minneapolis police and not refurbishing it, but putting in place healthcare officials and social workers to show up. And as I've been touring around CD5 and I've been talking to police departments and I've been talking to healthcare officials and I've been talking to social workers, I actually asked the social workers and they said, "You know what? No one's actually talked to us. No one asked us, because guess what? I don't want to show up on a scene with a police officer when there's someone is in a tough situation. I'm not built for it. I'm not interested in going through the training, and I'm built for after the effect. Once that person is arrested or once they're put in the hospital, that's my job, to come in and be that soft place to land." And so we have all these policies coming from people who have no practicality, who have actually no experience, who've never been on a ride-along, who's never actually watched police officers at work. I talked to police officers and they said, "You know what? Huge liability for us to have someone show up with us on scene in a very unpredictable scenario, and now we have to worry about the assailant. We have to worry about bystanders and citizens, and now we have to care for this healthcare official." It's really tough. And so no one asked. There's just this agenda that's being pushed by my opponent, by the Attorney General, and for all those who raised their fists in the air and was marching in the streets last summer saying, "Defund the police." And so tomorrow that comes to a head. Unfortunately, Minneapolis is ground zero for defund the police. And we are making headlines for all of the wrong reasons. And it's just time for us to change that narrative. So tomorrow morning, I've been invited, this just happened about 3 hours ago, to be on Fox and Friends in the morning. And I'm going to talk about this public safety amendment. And I will have someone sitting next to me who is on the opposite side. Now, this gentleman is a pastor, and he actually agrees that we should not defund the police, which is really great. But I really, really want to turn to him and say, not only should you not defund the police, but you need to change all of the policies that we're falling under that's causing our communities to fail and to suffer, and for people to suffer under in massive amounts of crime and carjacking and violent crimes and shootings. And so it's great to be here, you guys, because, you're just family. What are we talking about tonight? Mandates and masks. When you really just boil it down to, it's just talking about our freedoms. So what I want to do is just kind of be radical, like my opponent, Ilhan Omar.
Not quite like
A little different, but not quite like that. I'm going to be radical by telling the truth. So here's the truth. America is exceptional. America is founded on godly principles, and our Constitution is founded on godly principles. That's the truth. Abraham Lincoln was an American hero, and Thomas Jefferson was an American hero, and George Washington was an American hero. We have, in America, an absolutely beautiful, exceptional history. Yes, there's parts of it that are really good and great, and there are parts of it that are bad, and there are parts of it that are ugly. No nation is perfect, but what I can tell you is that America, 193 nations on the globe, is the only one who has never, ever, ever changed its constitution. It is enduring, and that makes us exceptional. Here's another truth. All lives matter. Another truth. Police officers here in this district, in Minneapolis, and all across America, they put their lives on the line every day to keep us safe. Police officers are heroes. That's another truth. America is not a racist country. Really like that one. Republicans and conservatives are not racist. Critical race theory is divisive. It is based on an ideology that separates us, causes division, doesn't make us feel good, and it's reverting us back to segregation. That's the truth. So you talk about freedom. We are free. That's the greatest truth, is that we are free. It's in our DNA. If you are born on American soil, you're born free. Here's another truth, that if you're born on American soil and you are free, that makes you privileged. We're all privileged. I heard Ronald Reagan say something. He was on Johnny Carson. This is before he was pledging to make this run for president, and he said, if you triple the problems in America, we're still doing better than everybody else on the globe. We are exceptional. America owes absolutely no one an apology. Absolutely no one an apology. Only an opportunity. That's it. No apologies, only an opportunity. So I'm running against someone who absolutely hates America. She hates Jewish people. She makes that very clear. She's overt about it. She hates Black people. She makes that very clear. When you tell someone, an entire city of people, that they don't have the right to defend themselves, and you want to eradicate the very entity that protects them, then you hate them. So Ilhan Omar hates Jewish people, that's obvious, but she also hates white people, and she hates Black people, and she hates Hispanic people. She hates everyone who lives in my district. For that reason alone, I cannot simply lie down and allow her to continue. I have to, with your support, rail against her and her quote-unquote leadership. We're suffering. We are suffering not just in Congressional District 5, but we are suffering in America under massive leadership failure. Afghanistan was a complete and utter failure, and we lost precious lives. Our borders are out of control. They won't acknowledge it. They don't acknowledge it. Massive leadership failure. Our dollar is being devalued every day. We're losing our buying power. We're losing our businesses. Parents are losing the right to choose their child's education and to view curriculums and decide where their children attend school. A zip code dictates the education of children today. That needs to change. There is a massive exodus in Minneapolis right now from businesses and from citizens. And I gotta tell you guys, I really love Minneapolis. I live downtown Minneapolis. I live in a condo, and I'm about a block away from the US Bank Stadium. I walked to the Vikings game to watch them lose miserably. That was really tough. I know. That was tough. But I see things boarded up. There are businesses who have left Minneapolis with no promise to return. There are businesses that are contemplating on leaving right now. If we do not come up with policies and incentives for them to stay, the star of the North, and a lot of people argue with me about that, but I say Minneapolis is the star of the North. I know I'm biased, but what's really great about Minneapolis, we're gonna lose it. And so enjoying to go to see the Twins or the Timberwolves or the Minnesota Vikings, all that will go away. Last night, I heard some people when I were walking through the crowd, we were coming out, and I heard some people say, you know what, it was really great to see the game, but walk fast because I feel uneasy. I just want to get to my car, right? So they couldn't get rid of those season tickets, but when they were out in the streets, they felt uneasy. They felt like they just wanted to get from the game to the car without incident, even though they were surrounded by a mass amount of people. That's the impact that this crime is having. And so we have to change that. So our top administration, as we said, is making disastrous decisions to cost the lives of our brave men and women in service. And I mentioned to you last week that when I listened to those people talking in the park, that was 76, we're now up to 86. So 10 more people have died by gunshots since last week, since last Thursday. So that hasn't even been a week. So what I think is obvious today, and I think is so obvious to all of you and those in America who are actually paying attention, who aren't sleeping, is that we're not just heading in the wrong direction. We are just like a bullet train careening towards the edge of a cliff. And something has to be done. So we have to make a decision that America is exceptional and that we won't apologize for it and that we will tout our red, white, and blue, and we will stand up when we hear our anthem. And gentlemen will pull off their hats and put it across their chest to the right, and us women will put our hands on our hearts to the right, and we'll say that Pledge of Allegiance with pride, and we won't apologize for it, and we'll say it really loud. We will relish in our history, and we'll tell it in its entirety, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we can honor what's great about us and great about American history, but that so we also don't repeat those mistakes that we've made in the past as well. I think about being born free, and I think about the border. And when I look at the border and I see people rushing to get here, I think about that. I said, you know, no one's trying to come to America because we're a racist country. They're really, really racist over there. Let's head towards America. No one's trying to get into America because we hate one race versus another. They're trying to get here because they want to taste what we're just born into. They want to taste and experience what's in our DNA. They actually want to know what it feels like to be like us, to be exceptional, to be from an exceptional nation, so that they can have the opportunity to leave a legacy for their future, for their children, and the next generation, and then the next generation beyond. They want to have a hand in that experience of knowing and living under a constitution that is enduring. They want to reap the benefits of the Bill of Rights. Can't blame them for that. We just want them to do it legally. We need them to do it legally. The American flag. Red, white, and blue. 50 stars representing states united, like all of us in here, united. Red for hardiness and valor. Maybe it's the red for all the bloodshed that stains our soil and the people who gave their lives to make sure that we remain exceptional. White for purity and innocence. And I said that to my mom, and she said, well, yeah, white's pure and just a little cynical. I know what she was thinking, but when I think about white and divinity and the concept of personal responsibility and nobleness and honor and integrity and the right, the absolute beautiful red, white, and blue patriotic right to self-determine. That is huge. I was born in a black monolith. We have a kid in here, so I'm gonna curve this story.
Oh, he's good. Yeah.
Okay.
He's good.
So I was given. God bless America. I was given my birds and bees talk and my political talk all wrapped up in one. Took about 10, 15 seconds. You're gonna love this. So my mom sat my sister and I down and she said, okay, so when it comes to the birds and the bees, just don't bring any babies in this house. And when it comes to politics, one's for the rich, one's for the poor. Republicans and Democrats. We're Democrats, so you're gonna always vote Democrat. And that was it. That was it. That was my birds and bees talk and political talk. And then we wanted to go out. She said, make sure you bring the car back full of gas, and that's that. So I didn't question. I just went along because that's just what you do in the black monolith. If you are a member of the black community, you don't question. And so you vote all things black, and you support all things black, and you tout for all things black, and you don't step outside of those lines, because if you do, then you're a traitor, you're a race traitor, you know, you're all kinds of names and things like that. You've heard them all, they're despicable. And I started questioning during Bush's presidency, and I had 0 people to talk to about that. No one. I am literally, on my maternal and fraternal side, the only conservative in my family. So I had literally no one to talk to, none of my friends at the time. I voted for Obama. I needed to see someone who looked like me become president of the United States because of black history and because of the black experience in America. And then Obama was impressive because what he was actually saying was everything that I needed to hear. And when he was on 60 Minutes and the gentleman asked him, if you don't make it as president, if you're not elected in office, do you think it's because of your race? Do you think it's because you're black? And he said, no. It will be because I haven't done what it takes to prove to the American people that I have what it takes to run the country. And I said, oh, finally, a black politician who's not talking civil rights and he's not preaching to us. He's literally talking about character and ability and merit. And so I just ran to the booth with all the enthusiasm, and then once he got in, something completely different. And then an orange man slid down an escalator. And all the things that I thought Obama stood for was coming out of this guy's mouth. He was talking about America first. He talked about American exceptionalism. He talked about why our borders need to be protected. He talked about why our allies should be paying us if we're protecting them. He talked about our position on the globe and that we are the model. We are the standard here in America. We're the innovators. We're mimicked for a reason, and we're hacked for a reason, because we are just, forgive me for just, I'm laying this on thick, we're just exceptional people. And so I'm like, that's my president. That's the guy that I want to vote for. So where does all this stop? When does it stop? Well, we have to change our vote. Now we in here, we've got it right. We've got it right. But my district, you guys, is made up of, I'm 22% base supporters, conservatives, Republicans, and then I have to deal with 63.3% liberals. And that is my challenge. That's where I'm going to have to spend most of my time. Dealing with people who have the Black Lives Matter sign in their yard, trying to sell me my victimhood, trying to approve me of getting a handout, trying to tell me that I'm a victim of police officers and that I can't attain and I can't assimilate, and that my children or our children, children of color, should be separated from white children, and that white children should not have an opinion when it comes to race relations and race conversations. And I have to convince them that their policies, literally, with defunding the police and critical race theory, and not allowing parents to choose their child's curriculum, is literally killing us and eroding what we know as America. So that's my challenge, but I'm grateful today and I'm hopeful today because I see the base is growing, more and more brave, standing in front of superintendents and school boards, and I see the base at the Capitol, in the streets, putting up signs, knocking on doors, doing lit drops, making phone calls, giving funds. But I also see there's a blue awakening happening in my district as well, where there's infighting because common sense is starting to kick in. Yeah, it's encouraging. And you know, I thought I wanted to defund the police, but now that my car has been jacked, and I'm afraid to stand on the bus stop with my kids and my neighbor's kids, and it's really difficult to plan and protect against a stray bullet, I realized that I was probably off a little bit. And maybe I meant well, but I need the police. We need the police. And so tomorrow is a pivotal day. Like I said, I'm really, really hopeful. But I have to convince those people that they don't speak for me, and that terms like white privilege and white fragility and equity need to be done away with. And I need to get them to embrace that America owes no one an apology. And I gotta get the Black community to really, really open their ears and their hearts and realize certain things, that there is a party that is absolutely interested and deliberate in keeping you down so that you can't assimilate and that you can't succeed, and that you're not being considered and you're not able to participate in America's wealth because of the policies and the leaders that you keep voting in. They're getting rich. They have protection. They don't live in the neighborhoods you do. And yet they're asking you to vote a certain way. That probably is one of my greatest challenges. Everyone here in this room, everyone who identifies as conservative and Republican benefits from the American experience. Everyone who is blue or liberal benefits from the American experience. Everyone who crosses our borders illegally benefits from the American experience. My opponent, who's an immigrant who came to this country and became successful and applied American principles and became a success and now works in Congress, benefits from the American experience. And yet she turns around and hates America and hates its people. And we simply can't allow that. So I applaud your strength. It's the wind beneath my wings, truly. Each one of us has the ability to impact someone else in their own very different way. And for me, I stepped up for Congress. Some others lead nonprofits and educate people. Others are grassroots activists. Some people stand in front of school boards. Some do lit drops and phone calls and fundraise. But I really still believe in the ethical and moral fiber of America, and I know it's still there. Our Constitution is under attack. Our Bill of Rights is under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. Your right to bear arms and protect yourself against tyranny is under attack. Citizens against criminals in Congressional District 5 especially are under attack. And so therefore your right to self-determine and be a free, liberated American is under attack. We are a constitutional democracy. Constitutional republic. We are a constitutional republic. The Constitution, the ever-enduring American Constitution. It defines us. It's what we live by. It's why people are dying to get here and no one's dying to leave. So I implore you to continue to support the American experience, to support each other, continue to wave that flag and sing that anthem, and know our history and tell it in its entirety, and to educate and protect children and the institution of family, and guarding morality, and just being wonderfully American. So leave here today more conscious than ever of your freedom. Should look for it and listen for it and guard it and protect it. The very thing that distinguishes us from any other nation on the globe. is our Constitution and our freedom and our liberty. And the sobering truth that we are simply free. The role of government is to be very minimal as we exercise our freedoms to the max. I'll close with this. We serve an exceptional God. If you're atheist and agnostic, you ignore or do not acknowledge an exceptional God. Our freedom is our weapon, you guys. It is our anthem. It defines us here in Minnesota. It defines us across this country. And it is absolutely the way of America. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Give it one more time. Here we go. Let's also give it up one more time for Little Jackson. That was awesome. All right, so this is a quick meeting tonight, so we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to mention a few things. We have 3 t-shirts left for purchase in the back. We have a medium, a large, and an extra large. They're $20 a piece. Make sure that we tip our man Dave very well, because he's the best. Not David, Dave, the bartender. David's all right. And I do have to say one thing. As an organization, we are apolitical, so we do not side with any political sides or take stances on either side.
Thank you,
I
Lori.
just needed to mention that because as a nonprofit, so that was like very diluted or like convoluted, so I'm trying to say that, yeah, we don't back any proponent, but so anyways, thank you guys so much for coming. And action step, I forgot. Our action step for today's meeting is to go and tell one person that maybe doesn't know about Mask Off, or about these rallies that are happening. We need to start communicating with our neighbors. We need to start communicating with our community about the events that are happening. And hopefully they'll come and they'll learn and they'll be able to be like, hey, there's something else going on here. And then we can start changing their minds, because those are the people that we need to reach. The people in the middle or to the other side just a little bit. Some people we aren't going to be able to change. But we have to change the people that we can. And that starts with us having a conversation. Okay? So thank you guys so much, and we'll be hanging out.
I'll be saving this video, so if you did not get a chance to watch all of Cece's speech, please go back and watch it once it's saved.